Hello my dear friends, my name is Sanne and I'm back with another beauty video, and today I'm back with another installment of my rainbow makeup series, and today we're tackling the color yellow, which is one of my favorite colors in the world, so I'm very excited about this video. I think yellow is such a fun shade. I just think sometimes it's very difficult to use in makeup. Like doing a just yellow look can be very boring because it doesn't have that much depth to it. But we're gonna make it interesting today. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be showing you two looks with the color yellow. One that's a bit more beginner friendly, which is gonna be this one. And then I'm gonna show you how to turn this look into this. And this look is gonna be for the a bit more experienced makeup user, or for anyone who wants to use the color yellow in a fun and bright way. This look is just a bit more excessive and colorful than the first look I'm gonna show you. So let's quickly get started on these two makeup looks, and I'm first gonna show you the beginner friendly makeup look using the color yellow. Let's get into it. Okay, to get started on this subtle yellow look, I am of course first priming my eyes. I do this with every single makeup look that I do. It makes the colors pop a bit more and it makes the makeup last a bit longer on the eyes. But if you really want to tone your makeup down, a good way to go about it is to not wear any eyeshadow primer, because then usually the eyeshadows will come off a tiny bit less pigmented and therefore a bit more subtle. So you can already take that step if you want the eyeshadows to be very subtle. And for this more subtle yellow look, I'm going into the Essence Wannabe My Honey eyeshadow palette, which is, as you can see, a very subtle yellow palette. To me, this is the perfect palette for such a subtle yellow look. However, this palette isn't available anymore. It was a limited edition palette, so I'll see if I can find some similar palettes online and link them down below so you can have an idea of what kind of palettes I would recommend for these types of looks. But this is a great way to get started. Another good palette can, for example, be the Colourpop Sweet as Can Be Winnie the Pooh palette. I used this yesterday. It also has the same kind of soft toned down yellow vibes, so this would also be perfect for a look like this. But I'm gonna dive into this palette because I don't really use this palette that often. So to get started, I am immediately gonna dive into the yellow shade. This shade doesn't have a name, but this shade is nice because it's a bit of a muted yellow. It's not a bright yellow. You can tell it is yellow, but it's a bit more muted, a bit more neutral, and therefore a bit more subtle. I am just blending that into the crease, just going for a regular eyeshadow shape. And if you've watched my previous two videos in this series on red and orange makeup, you can tell I'm using the same tricks for these subtle eye looks, because the trick overall is just to apply a little less and blend it out a bit more, because then the color will fade out a bit and will be less bright. Drag it underneath the eye a tiny bit. And as you can tell, this is nice and soft and yellow, but it's definitely not as bright yellow as this is. It's very subtle, but if you want it to be even more subtle, I would recommend also using some brown shades. So for that, I'm just going into a soft brown shade. It doesn't really matter which one, and just putting that into the outer corner. It deepens up that outer corner a tiny bit for some interesting depth, but it also tones down that yellow a tiny bit. See how much less yellow this look seems now? It's very easy. It's a very simple way of creating a colorful look without it being too colorful. But of course you can leave this step out and just do the yellow to be like actually bright and yellow a bit. And now we're of course gonna add some shimmers, and for yellow I always recommend golden shimmers. So I'm going into this one, which is gold, and just dab that on. This is a beautiful shimmer, by the way. And I'm also going into this shade because this is a bit more of an orangey toned shimmer. So I'm putting that along this edge because that kind of blends the first shimmer into this orangey yellow matte blend we got going on. just because that shimmer that I used here is very greenish gold. So it is just a bit of a separate tone from the other shades that we use. So I'm just using this one to kind of blend in between. And now of course we can go into a separate subtle shimmer to put in the inner corner. You can also just use a white shimmer to really tone down that yellow. Like I'm just using yellow shimmers currently, or golden shimmers, so that really brings out the yellow in the look. But you can also just use a white inner corner highlight or any different shade to really tone down that yellow a tiny bit more. This is the eyeshadow portion of this look. I'm just quickly gonna add everything that I want to add to this look and I'll get right back to you. Okay, and I'm back with the finished look. I didn't really add that many extra things. I wanted to keep it very soft, very subtle, very lovely and golden. As you can tell, like, it's more of a golden look than a yellow look, I would say. So it isn't bam in your face yellow, but it's still yellow and I think it looks cute. And as you could tell, it's a really simple way of doing your makeup. I only needed 3 to 4 shades. It was done very quickly. I just applied it and I was done. Which is very nice if you're just getting into makeup and you're experimenting with different colors. To finish up the look, I just added a tiny bit of mascara. I added the lighter highlighter from that palette that we just used. And on my lips, I'm wearing the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fenty Glow. So this is the subtle look done. Let's quickly get onto the look for more experienced makeup users. Okay, so for the more advanced makeup look, we're gonna go into an actual bright yellow shade. And we're also gonna do a bit of an interesting shape with some graphic liner. Like I'm pulling out all the big guns that I have, graphic liner, glitters, bright colors, everything. Because I like to do that. So I'm first gonna go into my Colourpop Fade Into You palette for a bright yellow. So I'm gonna be using the shade Abstract. I'm using a very small flat brush and going into that yellow. And I'm gonna be creating a pretty fun shape over here. Of course, I have already primed my eyes as always. I'm gonna be creating like a half round shape. I'm just gonna dab this on, see how bright yellow that is. That's so fun. And I'm just gonna go from this outer corner, go up a bit and then make it round. And I want the line to be pretty like clean, and filling that in a tiny bit with that yellow. I want to keep my lid a tiny bit empty because I want to go in with some shimmers. And then I'm also moving that same yellow underneath my eye. And you want to make sure that on top you have the same line going as when you would do a cut crease. So when you look straight forward, you just want to see the edge of that yellow coming out above your folds right there. So now we want to use a nice yellow shimmer, and for this I'm going into my Root Cosmetics City of Dreamy Lights palette. And I'm going into Gold Coin because that shimmer, as you can see, is like actually yellow. And I'm just gonna grab a flat brush so we can have some more control over where we're placing the eyeshadow. So let's go in with that yellow and place that right on the inner corner of the lid. So now we have placed the shimmer exactly where it needs to be, and I like to go in with some shimmer on my fingers afterwards always, just because I feel like my shimmers always look a tiny bit better when I apply them with my fingers. Maybe it's because of the moisture on my fingers or something. So I just usually like to go over it to make sure everything looks nice and sparkly. And next we're gonna work on the graphic liner. So I'm gonna go in with a yellow face paint and some setting spray, of course. And going in with a thin brush. And I'm gonna outline this half circle we created. About up until we reach that shimmer over there. And I want to make sure that that end is just a bit more thin and pointy. And then towards the outer corner of my eye, I'm gonna get the line a bit thicker. Make sure it looks nice and rounded. You can keep it like this. You can also make it thicker. And then you can add some rhinestones on top, maybe. Okay, we got this fun shape going on, so we just need to adjust a few things to make it a tiny bit more interesting, in my opinion. First of all, I'm gonna go in with some glitters, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but we're gonna do it anyway because it looks good. The Lucky Charm glitters from the Colourpop Fade Into You palette. Pressed glitters are not my favorite at all, but they will definitely, oh gosh, make this look more interesting. So just carefully dabbing some on my lid. Now I'm gonna go in with that shade Gold Coin again, which I'm gonna place in the inner corner. And I want to do that a bit more precisely than usual, so I'm going in with that very small fluffy brush that we used. Just add some of that to the inner corner. I'm just gonna go in with my pastel yellow eye pencil by Max & More. This is from the colored eyeliner set. And I'm just gonna align my waterline with that. I think I'm just gonna add some lashes and lips and everything. And then I'm gonna keep it like this. I am really happy with how it looks right now, so I also don't really want to mess it up with adding much extra. So I'm gonna finish up this look and then I'll get right back to you. Okay, I'm back with the finished look. I absolutely love this makeup look. This turned out so fun. I'm so glad I did this. What I used to finish this off, lashes are doe lashes in the style Moonlight. And on my lips I'm wearing the Face Theory lip color in shade 1. Which fits this look very, very well, I must say. So those were 2 ways to wear yellow eyeshadow. One for beginners and one for more experienced makeup users. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about makeup or anything that you saw in this video, please feel free to ask. I'm here to help. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you want to see even more from me, my blog, my socials, my Instagram where I share these makeup looks, and my gaming channel are all linked down below, so you can check that out as well. And that's gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Toodles!